In today's lesson, I want to show you a short and simple way to start improvising on an 8-bar blues. It can be kind of intimidating to think about taking a solo over the whole 8-bar form or over multiple choruses of a blues. So one thing you can do is just say, well, I'm going to play the melody to the tune, but I'm going to pick one spot each time around where I'm going to play a lick instead of the melody. So that's what we're going to do in this lesson. If you'd like a more detailed and deeper dive into how to improvise over an entire 8-bar blues from start to finish, that's what I'm teaching this month in my membership, the Fingerstyle 5, and you can learn more and sign up at the link below. So here's the idea. If we're playing Key to the Highway in the key of E, it's going to sound like this. Right, so there's the melody and the chord progression, playing with the steady bass. Let's pick one spot, which is maybe like the third phrase. So we open up with, there's the first phrase, and that's answered by this. And then there's this longer phrase. So maybe replace that with some kind of blues lick. Now, where the lick comes from, you can try to match the phrasing of the melody, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or you can just play blues licks. You've got about 2 bars to work with, and you just have to make sure you're done in time to play the next melody phrase. So if we're going along like this, we've got, say, all of this space, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So we've got to get out before that next phrase comes in. And this is just to create some boundaries because, again, we're trying to just cut the idea of improvising down to size and start with one simple place to do it. So you only have one place to play licks instead of the actual worked out melody. So if we're going along, we've played the first 2 phrases. When we get to the A chord, right, there's our spot. And so you don't even have to do anything tricky like start before you get to the A chord or play a pickup phrase or anything like that. Just when you get to the A, and then you're out. So you don't have to even use anything really complicated. In this case, I'm basically playing E minor pentatonic, but I'm swapping out this note here, the flat 7 of the E pentatonic scale, for this note, the 6th of the E major pentatonic scale. So I'm doing that just so I can play licks that spell out the A7 sound. And you can also just think of it as, well, what are the notes in the A7 and how can I kind of tag those and spell out something as I'm playing my licks over the A chord. So once you've picked your spot and you've picked the scale stuff you're going to work with, in this case, basically E minor pentatonic, but with that C sharp added in so you can help spell out the A7. You now know kind of where you're going to be playing, and you can try coming up with licks that start right when you get to the A chord and maybe get out around the and of 2 in the next measure. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Right? So you're in good shape to play the next bit of the melody. And when you do that, then you can just loop those couple of bars and just practice coming up with different kinds of licks that follow that rhythm and use those notes. like that. I kind of cheated. I threw in this F sharp. But the idea is you don't have to wait every 8 bars to come around to practice that spot. You can isolate that spot, make a little loop of it in your head, play along with your thumb to keep the groove going, and practice playing different ideas that you could drop in there, so that then when you do play through the whole 8 bars, you've got some different licks to try when you get to that spot. And the licks can just be stuff that you make up by following those rules and making sure that you're using those scale ideas and it's fitting into that one rhythmic spot. So this can be a really fun way to start adding some things of your own into a blues without trying to solo over the whole thing from scratch. It's a great stepping stone way to start adding licks to a tune or to an arrangement by coming up with just a few possibilities and practicing swapping them in on the tune itself, which already has a structure. It already has the chord progression, already has the melody. You're just picking one spot in the tune where you're going to add something of your own. And if you're playing an instrumental version of the tune, or you're playing the melody of the tune as a kind of solo while you're singing the verses elsewhere in the song, then swapping in licks for the melody is a totally legit move, and it will sound really cool and really convincing as soon as you have a few of these licks under your fingers. And if you'd like to learn my arrangement of Key to the Highway that I've been playing and take a deeper dive on how to improvise on Key to the Highway and other traditional tunes like it, check out my membership at fretboardconfidential.com. If you've got a question about today's lesson, leave it for me down below. I would love to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.